Hey, we are indeed here. We are indeed here. I got to get centered. Sometimes I get on here and you're like, I don't feel centered. I have to be perfectly centered or else I'm going to have like a mental twitch and things aren't just going to go right. How's it going, guys? Welcome to Massive Iron Live. Looking at my internet, it looks a little bit spotty today, so I hope everything is okay. As far as the old internet is going, I'm sorry if there's any connection issues. Spectrum has been doing upgrades like the last 4 or 5 days, and it looked like the upgrade is actually a downgrade. So anyway, welcome to Massive Iron Live, guys. It is Friday, July 26th. I'm here to answer your questions. If you are new, Massive Iron Live is the longest running lifting podcast in the history, live lifting thing, Q&A, talking about stuff in the history of the universe. And that's my claim. So I know there's a lot of podcasts out there, but I don't know anybody else that does live every week. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm here to answer your questions. So don't hesitate. Post up your questions. No diet, training, nutrition off topic. No crazy talk, but I welcome your questions. Don't feel like a question's been asked 1,000 times before. I'm here to help. Before I get started, a couple of things. If you're tuning in later and you want to ask a question, you can head over to Instagram app and the Barman app and the Barman. Slide into my DM with your questions. I'm here to help. I answer every question via DM. Also, please join teammassiveiron.com. That is my gated community. It's a very small fee, but we have a wonderful community over there. And before we get started, I just released the third book from the Massive Iron Omnibus. This is my life's work. And the bench press book was released last night. There's 3 books out right now. Book number 1 is like the Massive Iron Pillars and new content. Book number 2 is squats and deadlifts. And book number 3 is bench press and chest. These are not small books. The book last night was over 260 pages. Tons of content, tons of information, tons of workouts, tons of stuff. And you can find it at my website, superlivingtoday.com. Search Omnibus, Omnibus. And there's going to be at least 10 books in the series. This is going to be a huge value. This weekend, I will be releasing each of the books individually, so you can buy one book if you don't want to buy all of them. Also, coaching is what I do for a living. For those of you that need help, are looking at transformation, strength, muscle, whatever, mental transformation, that's what I specialize in, coaching. You can hit the coaching tab up here and apply for coaching. I was voted the number 1 coach of the year, online coach of the year by the world's largest training app, Trainerize. I didn't really know I was in the running, but I beat out 400,000 other coaches. I check in Monday through Friday. I provide that accountability if you need help. It is also one of the lowest priced coaching services in the industry at $89.40 per month after the first month. I keep it affordable because I do coaching for a living. All right, enough commercials. How are we doing? I had a great week. Absolutely great week. I've been working like 16-hour days trying to get my book out or my books out. And this week I was actually able to get back into training. Had 3 solid workouts. I'm using massive intensity training. Got out and got my steps up because I'm usually just sitting here at this desk. Got my steps up. So I'm just checking on the worldwide internet here. Got my steps up and just making sure my internet is working. Just making sure my internet is doing okay. What are we doing? Let me know if I'm not connected. Things are a little bit spotty right now. Anyway, I got my steps up, got them about 6,000, 7,000. I've been eating mostly meat for dinner. So that's the way things are going. We're doing pretty darn good. So how you guys been doing? How's your week been going? Everything going good? If you guys need anything like a custom workout or whatever, don't hesitate to let me know. I'm here to help. All right, let's dive into questions. Let's dive into things. Just want to make sure my internet, I've been trying to fix my internet, so I just want to make sure everything is good to go. All right, I think it's good to go. Let me know if there's any internet problems. Can you guys see me okay right now? I just want to make sure it's not shut down. Sorry to be a weirdo, but I'm not usually dealing with internet issues, so I just want to make sure everything is going good. All right. Okay. Joe B, good morning. Joe B, how's it going? Good morning from Team Massive. Joe's on Team Massive and a client of mine. And Tim, how's it going? Tim, thanks for tuning in. Tim is from Team Massive. Tim, pop in on Team Massive sometime this weekend so we can talk to you. And what do we got? About to go to Brunei for a jungle confidence course. Sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. Where I will navigate, scale, mount, whatever that is. Sorry, I'm not sure if that's a typo or whatever. And set up my own shelter across 9 days with 2 days worth of combat rations. Any tips? Wow. I'm not sure what you're able to take in, but if you're limited on food, don't underestimate the power of sodium or salt. If you can sneak in a little bit of sodium, that can help with energy when your food is deprived. If you are hot, try to pace your work. Sometimes when I don't know if you're going to be hot or working in the heat, but you want to kind of pace your work because all of the blood when you're hot is kind of pooling in your muscles, trying to keep you cool, right? And sometimes the best thing you can do is sit down, relax, get in the shade, allow the water to digest a little bit because it's harder for the water to digest and anything in your stomach to digest when you are overheated. So just try to stay cool and pace yourself. I don't know what you got going on, so if you need any more information, just let me know. How do you like to track and progress unilateral exercises? I feel a lot of times one side is always going to be stronger than the other. That's going to be the case in almost every situation. So you guys need to understand that's not unusual, right? A lot of people come to me like, my right arm is stronger than my left. My right arm is bigger than my left. That's normal, guys. That's 100% normal, right? It's been like that for me for 38 years. It's not abnormal at all. So don't worry about that. You just train normally. There's no new training. There's no new, protocol you can do. That's probably not going to change. My arm over here is a 1/4 inch bigger than my left arm. Been that way forever. What I do is I do the weaker side first. And wherever I stop at reps, like on dumbbell rows, let's say I do 13 reps with the weaker arm. Then I only do 13 reps with the stronger arm. Now, some people will panic and be like, oh, no, I can't handle that, right? I train the stronger arm to the level of the weaker arm. We're still progressing over time. Right now, I mean, it's not like you're going to develop some imbalance. That's a ridiculous concept or a ridiculous notion. I got my dumbbell rows to 250 by 10, and my left arm was like 250 by 10. My right arm was like 250 by 12. It always had a couple more reps left in the tank, but the difference always stayed a rep or two. So that's how I do it. You guys can do it however you want. That's how I do it. Stein, what's going on? Stein, happy Friday. And Big Ernie Peterson. Good morning. I got book 3 this morning. Incredible book at an insane value. Thank you. Book 3 of the Massive Omnibus is the bench and chest. And it's about 260 page-a-rooskies. You guys want a little bit of a preview of that one. Let's see if I can do the old, we don't want to do a video file. I don't have any video files. Let's upload things a little bit. I'll give you guys a peek at book 3. Just have to let it upload. So just hold on a second. We're drinking, of course, the Purple Monster Number 1 is done. Number 2 is halfway. And we got a backup, a little bit of no sugar, no caffeine, no sugar, 0 sugar mug root beer, just as a bonus. The book is almost uploading. I'm going to give you guys a peek. Again, you can go to my website, superlivingtoday.com, superlivingtoday.com. Check out the omnibus. You're literally going to get 1 million words of content, the most extensive and elaborate and insane and ridiculous amount of information ever put out in lifting by one person. And I don't know anybody that's ever put out this amount of information. I'm not patting myself on the back, but I am patting myself on the back because this is my life work, and I'm so glad to get it out. So hold on. I'm going to give you guys a peek. It is uploading. All right. So I'm going to remove Ernie's. This is book 3, and there's going to be at least 7, 8 more books. Okay. This is book 3. This is benching and chest. All right. Bench and chest. Disclaimer, copyright, blah, 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 blah. And here are just some of the major highlights in the book. Bench programs, bench programs, bench programs, bench programs, bench programs. How to fix your bench, how to fix your bench, how to fix your chest. There's so much information in here. Just absolutely a brutal amount of information. Lead off this book. And again, my website, superlivingtoday.com, search Omnibus. We have bench press strength standards. All right. Look at all that clean, mean, and clean formatting. The Savage 10 bench press program, all in there. All these programs, all this information is in there. So I appreciate you guys' support of my stuff. Where are we at? Dumbbells and Donuts, Kleineman. Happy Friday, Massive Machines. That should be with an S. Machine. A shout out to everyone who crushed it this week. Thank you, sir. Amanda P., how's it going? Tips for training someone post-bariatric surgery. Now, I have trained some people that have had bariatric surgery, but it was years after they had the surgery. Now, I don't want to overstep my bounds here and pretend I know a lot about bariatric surgery. I don't. But anytime you've had a major surgery, you basically just have to be really smart about what you're doing. You can't really jump into the ring and just start training full speed. I have a client, Joe, who had surgery recently, and we're kind of going very, very slow with dumbbells and machines. So if the doctor gives you the okay to exercise, right? Exercise, I would start with dumbbells and machines. Really moderate, really light, anything that doesn't stress whatever you got going on, and then kind of build some momentum from there, if that makes sense. Big Justin Jones. Good morning, big hairy ugly dude and team massive. How's it going? We're feeling juicy today. We got the bouncing pecs and the Judas Priest shirt. How many different quad exercises would you recommend after the squat variation? So the starting point in the massive iron world is about 4 exercises per major body part: chest, back, shoulders, and what am I? Chest, back, shoulders, and quads. Hey, we're talking about quads. 4 exercises is a starting point. If you're limited on time and you can only train 3 days a week, you can drop that down to 3 or alternate 1 slot every other week, which I would prefer. So we kind of want to find a way to work 4 in, even if we have to alternate every other week. A little bit of variety, hitting the muscles in a little bit different way. So I would have 3 after squats. Anything like a leg press, a hack squat, a pendulum squat, Smith machine squat. And then you got some other shenanigans like lunges and Bulgarians and leg extensions and so on and so forth. So I would try to work in 3 in your program. Big Barbell Bryce, the sexiest Bryce I know, and I only know one. Do you think massive intensity could potentially reduce long-term joint stress? I don't know, because when you are pushing sets intensely to the limit, to safe limit, quality limit, some exercises are still going to beat you up a little bit. or have the potential because it's heavy as weight, right? So with all things, the proper answer, Bryce, would be we need to focus on evolving things based on what's happening in the gym. I think starting with 2 sets per exercise, like massive intensity training has, and then getting in the gym and saying, maybe I feel like I can do a little bit more lat pull down work. I feel like I can do a little bit more of this, a little bit more of that. That's kind of what we do when we evolve training based on needs. For those of you guys keeping score at home, massive intensity training is kind of my modernization, my take on Mike Mentzer's heavy duty. I just decided to, what would I do if I was using the rules of the Mike Mentzer world and kind of getting away from the real wacky rules, like I'm only going to work out every 7 to 10 days. Look, it's wacky. It's non-conventional. I'm not doing that crap, right? My body's not that fragile. I can recover. Sorry, Mike. God rest your soul, but you were wrong, right? Mike, at the end, like some of Mike's advanced programs were 1 set of lat pull downs, rest 7 days, 10 days. Like, nah, I'm not doing that crap. Right, it's just way, way wacky. So I got rid of the wacky rules that Mike had in place, and I stuck with more of the major pillars. And I put together a massive intensity training. I'm using it right now. I used it 2 sets per exercise. Right now, I'm starting with 6 exercises. I like it, and then you can build into it if you want. Big Justin Jones. Do you think someone could progress faster? We're seeking optimal. Optimal is a long-term process. Optimal is a long-term process, my friend. You don't go into the gym saying, I'm going to make this blanket proclamation. Like if I train more volume, if I train every set close to the limit, I'm going to make faster progress, right? That's the mindset. What we need to be doing is we need to replace that mindset with, I'm going to go into the gym with a starting point. And from that starting point, how's it going, Gary? From that starting point, we are going to evolve each exercise based on how it feels. So we're not just going to say, I'm going to train every exercise to the limit, because that's what dumb people do, right? And I'm being facetious, a little bit of humor. But we have to be intelligent about our programming. We go into the gym with a program. I start most of my clients around 50% maximized sets, at least 1 set per exercise. We see how things are going, and we evolve each exercise based on how it feels. The demands of every exercise are different, so we can't just be one of these fitness dum-dums that's like, I'm going to change every exercise to failure, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. That's not how it works. We take everything on an exercise by exercise basis. Does that make sense? We can't just be like, I'm going to add more volume. I'm going to add every set to failure. It's not like that. That's not based on what's happening in the gym. That's based on some fairy tale that if I peg the needle on everything, I'm going to optimize everything. And that completely leaves out what is actually taking place in the gym, which is the most important part of training. So I hope that helps. This is why all the black and white guys that toss out rules are just tossing you in bondage, because they're telling you everything must be this way. No, everything must not be that way, because we are smarter than that. In the gym, we're going to look at, hey, like my training this week. Okay, I put together 2 sets per exercise, massive intensity training, and on lat pull downs, I decided to do 3 rest pause sets a la DC training. Well, I got in there and I'm like, I can do more. Like, I want to do more. I can do more. So I'm gonna evolve that lift from 3 rest pause to 5 rest pause. Why? Because I felt like I could do more on that. I did T-bar rows for 3 sets of rest pause. And you know what I found out? I don't like doing rest pause on T-bar rows. I like doing straight sets. It's a heavy lift. Evolving, changing things based on what is happening in the gym, as long as it is reasonable. You're moving from one thing that is reasonable to another thing that is reasonable. You are good to go. All right, guys, how's that video going? Is the video quality crappy today, or is it all right? Because my internet has been spotty, unusually spotty today. I'm not sure what's going on. So let me get a drink and get back to you guys. All right. We do have the new tattoo going on right here. And one day I'll reveal it. All right. Where are we at? Dumbbells and donuts. Gary said the gray is really coming in. Yeah, you can't hide the gray. I'm getting old. I'll be 57 this year. So ain't no stopping time. It's coming for me. The grave is coming, but we're going to keep rolling. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep lifting. We're going to keep running. We're going to keep eating our meat, training, saying our prayers, eating our vitamins, just like Hulk Hogan. We're going to see what happens, right? What would your key advice be to a new female trainee balancing running and lifting? She has a personal chef. He's talking about himself. The key thing is don't she can't try to train like the bros. I see a lot of guys that start to know a lot of stuff, right? They invest a lot of time and effort and energy into learning lifting, and then immediately they toss their wife, girlfriend, significant other onto some super intense, well-structured, perfectly groomed, perfect pedigree program. And it's not right. Excuse me. Women or anybody new to the gym needs to start with dumbbells and machines. They need to start with a friendlier version of training. Not something that's going to kick them hard. We don't want to go straight into the technical lifts like RDLs and deadlifts and squats. We need to allow them to build some base strength, to build some neuromuscular adaptation, to build some confidence, and just to have fun and play around a little bit. Because without that base, they're not going to want to come back. So when I have somebody that's new and they're like, hey, I want to do extra glute exercises, even though I know there's not a lot of inherent value from adding in a bunch of arbitrary glute exercises, I also know that enjoyment and fun and having a little fun in the gym and not everything has to be serious and perfectly structured is okay, right? It's okay to have fun, right? It's okay to do some exercises that don't make sense according to Mr. and Mrs. Optimal on the worldwide inner tubes. All these fitness influencers and these YouTube celeries. It's okay to do some things that don't make sense on the worldwide interwebs. So allow her some room to have fun, even if it doesn't make sense. Allow her to pick up some speed, have a little bit of fun. And you don't want to overdo things. You don't want to make somebody so sore that they're like, I don't want to continue lifting. Ease into things. Ease into things. 2 workouts a week, a couple sets per exercise for a couple weeks. Ease into things and let them listen to them. Keep your ear to the ground. What are they liking? What are they don't liking? What can we change, etc., etc. So JR. Thank you, JR. Thanks for tuning in. Brutus the Barber Beefcake is here, ladies and gentlemen. Brutus the Barber Beefcake. If you were in your 20s again, how would you change anything about your training? I'd train more. There's some things I would definitely change. I would have started deadlifting back then. In the early years, there wasn't a lot of focus on the deadlift, or what we would call the odd lifts, what Frank Zane called the odd lifts. I would have started hex bar deadlifting and conventional deadlifting, probably alternating every other week. I would have done glute ham raises, the ones where you get your shoulders above your knees and are working your hamstrings. I would have focused more. I did focus on dips till they got to I think I recall doing 3 sets of 10 with 60 or what. I don't recall. Don't hold me to it. But, I recall doing that, and I kind of felt like there was a point, and I'm just a kid. This is like 88, 89. I got to a point where, like, just getting into position with the dip and the weight and the dip belt, I was over it a little bit, so I moved on. I'd probably have stayed with that, and I would have stayed with pull-ups as well. Leg training, I probably would have changed up how I trained the legs a little bit, because back then I started with the power muscle, burn system, but I did tweak squats a little bit. So I would do like 225, 275, 315, and then 365. So I would do like 275, or I would do 275 for max reps, 315 for max reps, and then 365 for max reps. And back then I was always trapped at like 3 or 4 reps on the squat. This for a long time, before the worldwide interwebs. So I would actually do the opposite of the threes protocol back then. I would change up my squat training a little bit. Barbell Beauty from Team Massive, good morning. She managed to get her first pull-up this week. Congratulations. Shelly, a client of mine, good morning, Team Massive, benching while listening to the Mission Impossible theme. That's humor for those of you keeping score at home. All right, guys, live starts now. We're 30 minutes in, and we're going to get a drink. We're going to go over questions. If you're new here, please post up your question. Diet, training, nutrition, off-topic, random, talking about the new Alien movie, talking about comic books, talking about whatever you want. We're all good. I got an old catcher's mask from, like, I don't know, whatever, ancient era. And, whoops, that's my personalized baseball glove. Something I bought for myself. I always had a crappy glove growing up, so I wanted something fun and personalized. I'll probably never use it, but when you're a kid and you're using that crappy old $5 glove for like 15 years and it's falling apart, sometimes you just spoil yourself. What are we doing? Let's get a drink here. All right. Stephen Bush, client of mine. What's going on, Big Steven? Terrence, how much protein do I really need to lose weight? You don't need. Let me read the rest of the question here, and maintain most of my strength. Protein isn't really gonna, like, weight loss. Weight loss, your strength is going to do what your strength wants to do. Your presses can have a tendency to suffer. If you have lifts that aren't as strong as other ones, you could potentially gain strength during the weight loss process. I want you to remember that during the weight loss process, your focus is on losing the weight. If you lose a little bit of strength, don't panic. It's going to come back when you're done. Protein is not going to help you lose weight. It's not going to help you maintain strength. Okay. And I'm saying this because I want to help you. It's not magical. What you would like to do is get your protein intake about 35% of your daily calorie intake, not because it's going to help you lose weight specifically, but it will increase your food volume because you're relying more on lean protein foods. So number 1, track. Number 2, try to get your lean protein or your protein intake up to 35% of your calorie intake. And that'll help you get in more food volume. So if you need more help, Terrence, let me know. I'm here to help. Come join teammassiveiron.com. I also have a free community over at school. That's linked in most of my videos, recent videos. But, man, we'd love to help. We'd love to fill in the cracks of your knowledge, help you out a little bit, and provide a little bit of accountability. Zora, thank you for what you're doing. Thank you. Do you consider as many quality safe reps as possible equal? This is what, and I mean this, like, I don't live in an RIR world, okay? I'm not trying to, some people do, and that's fair. But I'm not sitting here going, how many RIR, what did I do today is how many RIR. I'm thinking about progressing over last time. I'm thinking about 2 things. pushing a set and trying to get the most out of it for muscle building, and in that lane, trying to beat what I did last time in reps, if possible, safely. That's all I care about. It's all I care about in my world. And I mean this completely respectfully. I don't care about RIR. It's not a tool. You can use it. Anybody, it's just a tool if it's beneficial for you. I don't have any interest in using it. I don't really care about it, right? That's theoretical stuff up for debate. What is mechanical failure? What is true failure? What is zero RIR? No value to me. Hard training is all I care about, and progressing and being safe and sustainable. So I hope that helps some. Big Mark Siegel. Hope I pronounced your last name correctly. I started using your 5, 10, 10, 20 bench press protocol and love it. Great. Is there other exercise you recommend using this protocol with? Yes. So you want to do some juicy dumbbell work, incline, flat, doesn't matter, even decline. Probably like 3 sets of 10. That's your backup plan. Okay. And a lot of times, depending on what your schedule is, a lot of lifters combine this with like the 3s protocol every other week, or on a second bench day. You could do that. You could add in a barrel press or guillotine press. A guillotine press, I used to do guillotine presses after my regular heavy bench work. So you unrack, and unlike a bench where you're down here, right? Down here, you're from my shoulder to my elbow is like 45 degrees-ish. We're not trying to make a rule. But this is a regular bench, right? A guillotine, you unrack, and you have your elbows are just slightly below your shoulders. What degree, it doesn't really matter. It's just not as tucked as a bench. But with a guillotine press, you lower like this until you get right here a chest stretch, and then you punch it back up. So this is going to be a little bit lighter weight, but it's going to be a little bit more chest focused. You could do something like that. I'd like to get some close grip bench presses in the mix. I'd like to get a machine press, like a plate loaded chest press into the mix, where you're like doing rest pause work, really hammering that chest with heavy weight and good feel. Stuff like that. You want to get some good triceps work in. I like to work in tricep extensions, maybe rest pause style, a JM press where you unrack the barbell, grip width about here, you lower it, let your elbows go where they want towards this area. Where it's not a challenge, it's not a competition to see if you can get it to your neck, but you want a JM press, you want to lower it like this and press back up. So you want to get good tricep exercise in the mix as well. And don't forget getting in your shoulder work, your barbell and dumbbell overhead press as well. And Mark, if you have any questions, hit me up on Instagram. Some of these things need a little bit more exploration, knowing what program you do, et cetera. Come join Team Massive Iron. If not, come join my free school community and ask me questions, or just DM me. I'm here to help. Brutus the Barber Beefcake. You don't like to get confrontational with clients. What you may consider confrontational, I consider challenging. That doesn't. What I do is I try to feel out clients. I'm not going to be rude, right? But I don't take things either, right? If I handle things differently, if someone has an excuse, I just ignore it. And I continue along the path. So when my clients say they want me to increase the intensity, I will. But I'm not going to get confrontational or rude, because a relationship is a long-term process. And if you say anything, that's just not my character. I am direct. Okay. And I'm honest, but I'm not going to say you sack of crap, get your crap together. I'm never going to do that. Right. That's not how I work. That's not who I am. But I will push people. A relationship's a long-term process. And one thing with saying things like that is that if somebody has a bad day, they're going to take it wrong. right? And I don't ever want to risk souring the relationship. We're going to be mature. We're going to be adult, and I'm going to be direct, and I'm going to tell you. I tell people, hey, we got to fix. There are clients that have been with me for 3-4 years that were working on squats, and I'm like, man, your squat is off today. It's just off. We need to focus, right? Your deadlift is off. Come on, you're too far forward. I continue. I don't let up. I don't baby them. I prod and poke, but I don't assume. So, I'm not going to be. I don't know what you mean by confrontational, meaning super direct and abrasive, but I don't work like that, right? If somebody wants me to increase the intensity of the challenges or the pressure, I certainly will. If they want me to be more direct, I will be more direct. But I need to get to know the client first, and I need to get to know how they like to be coached. If they want me to be more direct, I will be more direct, but a lot of times when you're new with somebody, you have to turn over stones and figure out, how are they doing mentally? How are they dealing with the challenges? You have to learn before you react. You can only react from a place of, from a foundation of information. Does that make sense? Because you have to get to know the person. You have to get to know how they train. You have to get to know how they eat. And you have to get to know their excuses. Because not everyone, there's many clients I have that don't have excuses. They just get in and do the work. But some clients do have excuses. They have excuses. And I'm not going to go, hey, that's an excuse, right? What I'm going to do is encourage them to do the right thing. If somebody's drinking beer on the weekend and not losing weight, I'm going to be like, you really got to consider, I just want to encourage you to cut back into drinking, because I've never had a client drink a lot on the weekend that's lost weight. That's just being real with people. So what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Big John Parker. I lift most of the week and practice martial arts a couple times during the week. I keep hurting the intercostal rib muscles. I don't know if that's from martial arts or if that's from lifting or a combination of both, but there are some kind of semi-rotational stuff you could do. I'd probably start with a wood chopper. Look up wood chopper. You can do it with like one of those heavy medicine balls. You can do it with the cable. You can do it with the dumbbell. You can do it with the kettlebell. I would look up like a wood chopper just to get some reasonable rotational work on that core. And then I don't know. I would just start there, start slow, start easy, build some strength, and then see if it helps at all. Big Lee, what's going on, Big Lee? Big Steve, nice Judas Priest shirt. Thank you. Absolutely love their new album. Just an amazing album from start to finish. Just fun to listen to. Anybody remember fun? Like music that's just fun to listen to, right? Like you just put on we're so song driven in this era. Like we listen to specific songs. It was so weird for me to put on the Priest album, and like every song I literally enjoy. I'm not skipping anything. So that was kind of a fun thing. My band was meant to play Cardiff today, but gig got canceled. Given the UK heat wave, I'm not laughing at you. I'm just like I'm just wondering how hot it is. With my kids being off school, how would you best approach training? Just make sure you get in some sodium, a couple, not a lot, but some salt a couple hours before. You don't want to overhydrate, but you basically want to sit and sip something with some electrolytes, primarily sodium. People will say, why do you focus on sodium rather than potassium and calcium and magnesium? Those are electrolytes as well, because when we are sweating, most of what we are sweating out is salt, not the other electrolytes. So you really want to focus on salt more than anything. You really want to focus on salt more than anything, when you're exercising. So sip on a Molly. Don't need to go crazy. And you need to sit down and cool down in between sets a little bit. Allow your heart rate to slow, get things under control. That'll help, because you want to pace yourself a little bit more. Allow yourself, get in front of a fan, get in the shade, get whatever you can to cool down a little bit, because the water you're drinking is going to have a harder time digesting when all the blood is in your muscles from working out and trying to and your skin from trying to cool down. So try to cool down in between sets the best you can. Big Lee got 60 kgs on single arm dumbbell rows. That is exceptional. Nice work. Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Anyone else having their feed take a month off from massive gains? No, we're not going to do that. I'm going to say this. A lot of people have approached me this week about all the video, whatever, going around about taking extra time off. That is so disconnected from the average lifter. The average lifter, and I know because I work with the average lifter, is just trying to find a way to get in the gym, life, school, whatever. The average lifter doesn't have a problem with generally overworking, right? The average lifter is just trying to find out how to continue with consistency. This type of information is so detached from reality for the average trainee. It's almost laughable. And I'm not putting anybody down. And you guys that have seen the video know what I'm talking about. But this is detached from reality. And that's a problem with so much of this influencer bullshit, right? They get to sit around and play tiddlywinks all day and make videos and collect fat stacks. And hey, they got a business. I respect it. But you can't be detached from training people in the real world. People generally don't need more time off. They got time off already from vacation, from being sick, from life demands. They got to do stuff for their wife. They got to cut the grass. Life is kicking them in the balls. They got to study. They got to travel for work. And they're just trying to hold their shit together in general, right? So you got vacations, you got holidays, you got sickness, you got random time off. You got all that stuff pulling you away from the gym to begin with. Outside of that, we are smart. We're smarter than the average bear, because we know, hey, if I feel beat up or tired or mentally exhausted, I'm going to take a couple extra rest days off. That's how I'm going to do it. And I'm going to come back because I like training. I'm not going to take a month off. I can barely get to the gym as it is. My boss is an asshole. I'm sick again. I can't sleep because of work stress. I got school stress. I got my birthday coming up. I got my sister's wedding coming up. I got this and that and the other thing. Everybody's trying to pull me away from lifting. And I just want to do the one damn thing I like to do, which is lifting. And some knucklehead on YouTube Fitness that doesn't even train anybody in the real world, that's no disrespect, man, tell me to take extra month off. Hell no. I want to take a whole month and train every day is what I want to do. Can I get an amen to that? I'm not a religious guy, but I'll take all the amens of that I can get. Seriously. I'm down here grinding away at my work, trying to find time to cut the grass, trying to find time to do anything I'm interested in life, hobbies, interests. And I just want to find time to continue to train smoothly, because that's what makes me excited. So in between all these things we got going on, you got some YouTube knuckleheads telling you, take a month off, take more time off, take a month off for massive gains. How about I just not listen to you, listen to my body, take a couple extra days off when I feel beat up, oops, and go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? So, as somebody said, why aren't you religious? Well, I don't do religion or politics on here, right? So that's what I'm saying. I don't touch personal religion, personal politics. That's what I really mean. But seriously, this stuff, and I mean this for you guys' benefit. I'm not just rambling or ranting. I mean this for you guys' benefits. These guys are not coaching people in the real world. their friends and all the people they have on their channel, they have nothing to do but fuck off, right? Yeah, they have businesses. But like, you guys get to train for a living. I just want to go train, right? I just want, like, I'm trying to put out my book series. I just want to be able to do legs tomorrow without like 18 things happening. You know, the wife's got a honey-do list. And the dogs, when the dogs gets diarrhea and things come up, and the daughter wants this, and somebody's calling, you know, they're building a road outside my house, and got to move my car, and enough, right? This stuff is so detached from what we're doing. If it helps you guys, great. I have nothing against it, but it's detached. Hey, Steve, I lost a bench press competition because someone lied about their weight. Sorry to hear that. Have you ever heard of a powerlifting competition? Yes, I have. I'm going to tell you, I competed with some of the top meets in the United States. Not all of them, but I've competed at some really, really good meets, and I've been around some of the top power lifters in the world. I was with some of my friends at the Arnold meet in their hotel room, just talking powerlifting the day before their big competition. I've been around I've worked under the strongest powerlifter in the world, Donnie Thompson, for a while. I've been around these guys. And even though I don't consider myself a pure powerlifter, I've been around their camps. And I've heard the stories. I've heard so many powerlifting stories. I've heard stories of at Worlds. This was overseas. One of the major names in powerlifting was asleep. And they couldn't find him. He was asleep, like in the area, like not in his room. Where I don't know, in the area, in one of the little conference room areas, he lay down on the ground, fell asleep, and he missed his weigh-in, and they didn't know what to do because they wanted him to compete. So they just asked him his weight afterwards, and he told them, and it was a lie. I've been at major competitions where I would go there year in and year out, and the big names I'd never seen weigh in with the rest of the people. Now, is it suspicious? Yes. Does it mean they're doing anything wrong? No. But some of these guys, when they're competing in the 220 class, and I'm standing next to them, and I'm like, that dude is way more than 220. And he didn't just cut and balloon back up 15 pounds the day before. It didn't happen because I'm standing next to him. This stuff happens. There is a lot of, I'm not tossing out blanket statements, but there's a lot of shady crap in lifting. Even in bodybuilding. One of the things I find repulsive, and you guys can feel free to disagree with me. We can have intelligent discussions. We can disagree and not hate each other, right? But you go to a bodybuilding show and you will have people on stage and you'll have their coaches as a judge. Okay, let that sink in. The coaches might have 7-8 people in the show. Now, you can say, they're going to judge them neutrally. That's fair. Maybe they do, but they should not be judged. You should not be judged by your coach. It's not right. It's not right in any way. It's not the right thing to do. You see crap like this in bodybuilding and power. I've been to powerlifting meets where the geared guys, the guys in the squat suits, their squats would be 5-6 inches high. You'd be right there on stage. Your lifter's next to go, and you're watching, and their hips are well above their knees, and they're like, yay, 1,000 pounds, 3 green lights. Your guy comes up, buries it a couple inches like below parallel, and gets 2 red lights. And you are like hashtag WTF. There's a lot of crazy crap that goes on out there. And hey, man, the nature of man. I wish I could fix all the world's problems, but we can't because people are always the source of the problems. There's always that certain percentage of people just do good, do the right thing, be a good person, train, say your prayers, eat your vitamins. And I'm sorry that happened to you. I really am. Yvonne, good morning, Team Massive. Big Barbell Bryce, any tips on bulking with a prior eating disorder? I find that religiously tracking weighing sparks past negative thoughts. I understand. Okay. So what we are trying to do is balance what we need to do with things that kind of triggered past issues. Now, first and foremost, the focus has to be on taking care of ourselves with food, right? We have to be first and foremost taking care of ourselves with food. That is always our main priority. That is healthy. Okay. If we can't do that, then we still have some form of disordered eating, so to speak. Does that make sense? Like if somebody can't take care of themselves with food, they just continue to go back to crap or whatever. They have some issues they need to figure out. I'm not a food psychologist or a nutritionist or anything like that. You have to figure out how you can stay in your calorie zone without causing it to trigger things. What I do is I stick to an eating structure, right? I'll eat at his time. I'll eat at this time. I don't make it a rule. I don't weigh my food. I never weighed my food. I don't even generally count my protein. I know I'm getting in enough. I never weigh my food, but you have to make sure your calorie intake is pretty consistent on a daily basis. You don't have to do religious tracking. You don't have to do religious weighing. I've never done that. But you just have to watch your weight, and you have to have pretty consistent meal intake, right? Like we're not eating on whims. What do I want for lunch? I don't know, Chipotle or 3 McDoubles, right? That's what dipshits do. And I mean that respectfully and with humor, right? Tongue in cheek. People that gain weight, they wake up every day like, what do I want to eat today? Right? What do I want of mouth pleasure? What do I want for mouth pleasure right now? They're not thinking about taking care of themselves. They're thinking about mouth pleasure. What tastes good right now? I want to eat something that tastes good right now. I got to taste it. God tastes good. I want one of those cheddar chips, right? I want one of those snack cakes from Little Debbie, right? Mouth pleasure. So we don't want to eat on whims. We want to have some meal. Sure. I know for dinner, I'm going to have elk, I'm going to have bison, I'm going to have venison, I'm going to have a steelhead trout with rice or potatoes. I know about where my calories are. I don't weigh anything. I know about, but we need a reasonable structure. I'm not sure if that helps, Barbell Bryce. You guys like my impressions? I don't know. A little bit of humor. Big Jonathan, good morning, Team Massive. Have fun at the 3x3 game. That's on Sunday, but thanks. I appreciate it. What are getting in terms of, so I'm going to a basketball event, and me and my wife have discussed this. It's a basketball event on Sunday, and it's about 5 hours, give or take. So I already checked out what food they have available. They have like hamburgers and all the rest of your nonsense food. So my plan is I'm going to eat minimally before. It starts at 1, like 400 to 600 calories. I'm going to allow myself maybe a double burger with bacon and cheese, because why wouldn't you, right? It's bacon and cheese. So I'm going to do that. And then when I get home, I'm still going to have about 1,000 calories left. So I'm not going to make the sporting event, about what kind of junk can I put in my body. All right. And plus the money. I'm not getting beer. Beer is going to be like $15 a thing. Like, no way. I'm on a roll right now. My weight's coming back down. I'm back on track with training. I'm not going to mess that up. So I'm probably going to have a double cheeseburger with bacon and cheese. And if they only sell singles, I'll probably get 2 and just kind of build my own. You know what I'm saying? Big Gary Thomas, what's going on, Big Bear? Happy Friday. Beefcake, do you ever have any clients that you wish that you did? Oh, my goodness. Somebody trying to throw me under the bus. Yes. I'll tell you a story. People are people, and I love all my clients. I'm so thankful for all of them. But occasionally you get one person. We all have one person. I've been doing this a long time. So I had somebody come to me about 4 years ago. A dude, maybe about 32-ish. We talk on the phone. I put together a program for him, right? And here's the thing, and I don't mean this in a demeaning way. It's just reality. Some people sign up for coaching, and then they realize they have to train hard, and they don't really want to train hard, right? So that's just the nature of anything, right? How many times have you signed up for something, and you're like, I want to do this, and then you go to the thing, and then like reality sets in, and you're like maybe you're going to sign up and jump out of a fairly good an airplane. I'm going to go jump out of an airplane. Then you get there and you're like, was I drunk that day? Was I drunk that day? What was I thinking? Right. So occasionally somebody will sign up for coaching, and then they get the program and they do the first workout and they'll be like, was I drunk when I signed up for him? What was I thinking? What was I thinking? Now, I don't do any circus acts or whatever, but there's always going to be 1% that signs up and they just kind of weren't ready for it. Right. Yeah. Right. That's just reality. And I love everybody. I'm not like that. I don't really care. Everybody's in process and I try to meet them where they're at and help them where they're at. Right. But this guy got his workout. And like after 2-3 is like, maybe like what I do is I'll take the same types of massive iron structures and principles, the 3s protocol, and I'll give people the bulldozer option and I'll fit things based on their equipment and their exercise preferences. Hey, I don't like the squat, but can I do the front squat? All that kind of stuff, right? So I give them a program. It's got all the stuff in it and it's, I don't know, upper posterior, whatever it is. A week later, I think I might want to try a body part split. So I take the same stuff and I move it into a grid for a body part split. Because it's not like I'm going to take bench press 3s protocol, and because he wants a new program, I'm going to just create some new protocol on a body part split because I want to see what he does. So another week later, I want to do a full body. Another week later, could we do torso limbs? And literally every weekend for 5 weeks, I'm giving this guy a different program because nothing just seems to be clicking. And I'm okay with that. I do my client workouts on Saturday. Changing things. I don't care. We'll find something for this guy. He comes back to me like 6 weeks into coaching and says, you are just a cookie cutter coach. All you do is give me the same thing over and over again in a different workout. You're a sham. All you do is give everybody the same thing. And I'm thinking, my mother bleeper. I just spent like 5-6 hours on Saturdays moving things around for you. You want something different every week? Like, I don't cookie cutter anything. There's always a structure. Right? I'm not going to program like Jeff Nippard. I'm not going to program like Dr. Mike Israel. That's just a joke. It's Israel. Right? I program like I program. You guys know how I program. But everything is tailored to the individual. Right? I could show you the library. Maybe someday I'll release the 2,000 workouts I have in my library for clients. All kind of the same philosophies, but all a little bit different, right? All a little bit different. I don't just have 5 templates that I hand out. No way. I couldn't do that. Everybody's different. So he accused me of just handing out templates. So at that point, I don't think he wanted to stay with coaching, which was fair. So I could tell when people start to accuse me of something, that's the only person that ever accused me of something. And I'm like, I don't think this is a good fit, my friend. If somebody doubts you as a coach, there's just no hope. So I let him out of his contract. I wasn't going to take the third month. I'm not in this for money. I've been lucky as a coach that I always stay full, pretty much. I mean, you always have two people coming, two people going. That's just the nature of life. But my average client stays on right now 18 months to 2 years, legitimately. And that doesn't mean everybody does, but there's maybe 5% leave after 3 months. They just were an experiment, or they don't have the money. It's just the way it is in the modern economy or whatever. But this is the only person that ever got threatening with me. I don't do cookie cutter stuff. I use my same philosophies. But anyway, long story short, he starts to appear on my YouTube comments and starts to appear on my Facebook and Instagram comments. This is the worst coach. He just gave me cookie cutters. What do you want to say? I'm not going to argue with people. I'm not going to say this guy didn't do any of the workouts and he just kept wanting me to put together new workouts until something was easy enough so he could actually want to do it. Right. And that's really what happened. I don't engage. I don't have time to engage. I don't have time to process people and figure out where they're at or what their goals are or what their motivations are. I have work to do. My clients are important to me. But this guy, for a month, he was just spamming everywhere, trying to tell the world that I was the biggest sham coach ever. So that's a client that I wish I never had. Gary, train smart, not just hard. Gary, pretty good. Thanks. Algernon from Team Massive. Good evening, Big Hairy Ugly Dude. Evening, team. Been on since the start, but couldn't chat. Solved it now. I hate phones. You and me both. And I hope I hate technology because sometimes it still feels like we're on dial-up. Ever go to a website or load your smart TV and it takes longer than it did to load during, when you had dial-up? As long as you ain't using a whole ass tripod in the middle of the gym or taking your shirt off on the gym floor like an idiot. I don't care what anybody does in the gym, but if they're doing a filming staging area, that becomes, I don't know. Have you guys ever seen that sort of thing? I don't know. Anything I should think about if I'm about to run the 5, 10, 10, 20 with the ups and downs protocol. The 5, 10, 10, 20 can usually, it leaves me pretty sore. So if you're going to bench twice a week, generally you want a little bit more rest after the 5, 10, 10, 20 than the other program, if that makes sense. So if you can have 2 rest days after one and 3 rest days after the other, you probably want a little bit more rest after the 5, 10, 10, 20. Gary, are you going to the new Deadpool movie? No, I'm a big Wolverine fan, but I'll wait for a digital. It's hard getting my wife to watch these movies in general. I'm really using that card. I'm saving that card for the new Aliens movie. Well, Steve, hey, hello. Good to have you here. Thanks for tuning in. Big Jonathan, I'm 160 tree, 6-foot tree, and 19.5 BF. If I'm correct, I would go up to all right, let me work out some natural potential numbers. I hate to toss out natural potential because it curdles some people's blood, but you know what? It's a guideline, and you don't have to consider it a rule if you think you can get as big as Ronnie Coleman naturally. But anyway, I'm 5'10", and my lean body mass potential is about 178 to 180, give or take roughly. I've been there 25 years. Okay. So lean body mass is if you had no fat at all, which is impossible, we know, but it would be your body without fat. So lean body mass, at 5'10", my lean body mass potential, ceiling cap, whatever, is about 180, give or take a hair. For every inch above or below, you add about 5 pounds of extra skin, blood, bone, boogers, brains, stuff, right? So every inch of height is going to add about 5 pounds of stuff to the body, roughly. So your lean body mass potential at 6'3" is about 205 pounds. Okay. If you're at 205 and maxed out, natural, juicy, and you're at 20% body fat, yeah, it can be done. Absolutely can be done. You're right on track with your math. It certainly could be done. It could certainly be in that range. I've been around this a long time, my friend. I've seen a lot of people at their natural potentials or right around that range, not necessarily 6'3", but yeah, I've worked with some big lifters, some tall lifters, so it could be done. What are your thoughts behind labeling hammies as a minor muscle group? Some people get their undies in a bundy about that, okay? As my mom used to say, don't get your undies in a bundle. Labeling hamstrings as a minor muscle group doesn't mean they're not an important muscle group or not a big muscle group, okay? When we look at training, we only have so many hours in the week, so many sets we're going to do. So quads are a bigger focus for more people, and in general, because they're an anterior lift or anterior muscle group. In your quad work, you're going to work your hamstrings to a minor degree. So when you're doing a major body part, you're going to work other areas to a minor degree. Okay? Quads, you're going to work your hamstrings, your hips, your glutes. That doesn't mean hips and glutes are minor. If you want to do 4 exercises per week for hamstrings, go ahead. But for the average individual, when we're talking reasonable program structure, we have to focus on our delts, our chest, our back, and our quads as the front tier. Now, our chest and our delts are also going to work our triceps. Our chest is also going to work our delts and our triceps. Our delts are also going to work our chest, upper chest to a degree, and our triceps. So there's carryover, compound movements are compound movements. Nothing exists in a vacuum. So we work the major areas of focus first. Quads are going to hit your hamstrings. Deadlifts are going to hit your hamstrings. So we have squats and deads already hitting our hamstrings to a degree. And we have our quad work hitting our hamstrings to a degree. And then from there, we add in the hamstring work that we can. Now, minor muscle groups in the massive iron world don't mean they're not important. But the average person can work out about 4 days per week. So we're going to start in that center area. And we can expand. If you can only train 3 days a week, we're going to drop it down to here. If you can train 5 days a week, we're going to inflate it up to there. But what we're going to do is start at a centrist point. Okay, 4 workouts a week. You can do about 18 sets, hard sets, 16 to 18. About 75 minutes in the gym. So we have to be practical, okay? We train in the real world, not in the fairy tale world of some of these influencers. So 4 workouts, about 18 sets is 72 hard sets a week. And we're going to adjust based on if you can train more or less, but this is a starting point. So we're going to first hit our major areas of focus: chest, shoulders, back, quads, 12 sets. That's 48. The rule of 2/3. 2/3 of your initial work is going to go to these 4 major areas of focus: chest, back, shoulders, quads. 1/3 is going to go to biceps, triceps, and hamstrings because they are worked as part of the major work. Okay? Doing back work is hitting your bicepticons. Doing pressing work is hitting your tricepticons. Doing quad work and deadlift work is hitting your hammeroids, right? That's why, and so we have 48 of our 72 weekly sets already for the major muscle groups. We have 24 left, okay? We're going to use 2/3 of that for our biceps and triceps, and then whatever's left, we're going to do our hamstrings with, okay? Does that make sense? So we're being very pragmatic. We're being very methodical about how we're approaching. This is not a rule. This is a general framework to start off of, okay? It's the 2/3 and 2/3 massive iron principle. Whatever, now take it down to 3 training days per week. That means you have about 54 hard sets. We're going to take 2/3 of that and hit chest, back, shoulders, and quads. So that's like 36. So you're going to hit about 9 sets each. If you're doing a full body workout 3 days a week, that's 1 exercise per day. Imagine that. It just makes sense. And then after that, you take the remaining work and you start to hit your arms and your hamstrings. And then you fill in the pet work. What do I want to do? I want to do some abs. I want to do some calves. I want to do some extra rear delt. Maybe I want to do a little extra hamstring work. You can build that in. But what we're trying to do is build a well-rounded, balanced program off a balanced, reasonable framework. So when I say hamstrings are a minor muscle group, I don't mean they're a small muscle group, and I don't mean they're an unimportant muscle group. What I mean, if you want to do 12 sets, if you want to start in this place where you're doing 4 workouts of about 18 hard sets a week, and you decide you don't want to do 12 sets for quads, you want to do 6 and you want to do 12 for hamstrings, go ahead. I am not trying to create rules, okay? I'm trying to give you a reasonable starting point. Just know your quads are going to look like monkey piss. They are. If I am getting in hamstring work from deads and squats, 2 big hitters. If I'm getting in glute and hip work from hamstring or from deads and quads, to varying degrees, of course, because that's just the way life is. They are secondary as far as programming. Does that make sense? I hope that helps. Big Rob, any tips for tricep tendonitis? Is it on the inside? Then it's elbow tendonitis from gripping. Okay. If you can notice it pressing, that usually means it's pretty bad. If it's on the outside of the elbow, that's another issue. But I assume it's on the inside of the elbow. If it is, you need VersaGrip Pros, and you need to take care of your grip. You have an overuse injury from grip. All right, let me get a drink here. Keep the questions coming, guys. I'll stay on as long as you have questions. Done. We're going to the backup system. We're going a little bit no caffeine. Yo, Mugarooski. No sugar, no caffeine, but taste uber. All right. Gary. Weird question, but I remember your before pics when you had a bigger beard before you cut the fat. Have you ever considered? No. I won't bring the beard back. I'm definitely not doing a goatee. I had a goatee until like 2004, and I looked like a Nobuchesky, right? I'm not going back to the goatee era of the 90s. I just don't like it. A big beard, probably not. We'll see. Maybe if I got super lean, I can pull it off a little bit better. But like my beard, if it grows from here for another week, all of a sudden I look 10 years older. And call me, neurotic, but I like to look 10 years older. Plus my wife is like way out of my league. Like I outkick my coverage, right? So I got to look the best I can for her. It's hard enough being big, hairy, and ugly. You should see my back here. I mean, I can't show it here. Oh, you can see my farmer tan. All right. Taking a month off, like I can understand for injuries. I don't know. Just there's so much crap in the influencer world. Levin, love the channel. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Didn't mean to burp in your guys' ear. All that bubbly drink, right? You got to have consistency, balance, discipline, you name it. Even if you can't hit the gym, you got to at least do something to keep your body moving. Yep, that's what it's all about. Right now, most of us are just trying to do what we can do. We wish we had time for optimal. I wish I worked out so hard that you know what? I've been training for 39 years now. I never need to take a month off. Never needed to take a month off. Not going to amplify gains. There's no magic. It's just blah de fuckity blah on the worldwide interwebs. Excuse my honesty. Big Gary Thomas. No, he didn't. I accidentally did. Harut, client of mine. Historically, pull workouts used to fry me more, but recently the pushes have been more taxing. You have really, like, Harut is a client of mine, really built up his back strength. And penalty rows are 275. Really good work. I don't find, the only thing that really taxes me right now is the heavy dumbbell row. So I think you're building up that work capacity. It can be mentally moving up, hard moving up. The only thing I find challenging on back day is really deadlifts, more mentally than anything, and probably the dumbbell row sets just because they're pretty heavy. But I don't know. Pull workouts can, or push workouts, the heavier you get, there's something about unracking a really heavy bench and holding it over your head. It starts out reasonably intimidating and moves to pretty intimidating over time. What's your most hated errand and house chore? I wouldn't say I have one, but I would say, and this is something most of you men have probably run into, when you do something like do your own laundry or do the dishes and your wife sees you, you always did something wrong. You always did something wrong. You did something wrong. You're a dum-dum. Hey, my clothes are clean. I hung them up. You did them wrong. The other day I got told that I didn't put in enough laundry detergent and that my clothes aren't going to smell good enough. Like, they smell neutral. They don't stink. I'm okay with that, right? You put in enough laundry detergent. All right. So I'll stock the dishwasher because if I leave any dishes in the sink, I'm going to die, right? But I stocked the dishwasher, and my wife got home, ate dinner, went to put her spoon and bowl in, and told me, "You didn't stack the dishes in there right." Like, aren't they going to get clean either way? What's the right way? Where's the manual? Where's the theory? Where's the optimization video from on stock? I don't know. I just kind of put things in like a puzzle, like Tetris. So yeah, if I do anything like that's not like the man chores, like putting stuff together and weed trimming and lawn work and lifting heavy rocks, I never get criticism. But if I do anything that's in her lane, I'll always get criticism. That's just the way it is with men. Alonzo, what's going on? How many pounds of muscle does a natural bodybuilder carry on stage? The average natural, it depends on what category. Like the real top pros, roughly 30, maybe 35. The guys that are more novice, it can be anywhere from 10 to 20 to 25 to 30. It depends. I noticed you really don't have a bro split on your website for sale. Every one of them, I got tons and tons and tons. Let me show you guys something. Okay. I got tons of bro splits. Everything has a bro split. Everything has a body part split. Everything. And I'll just show you guys real quick. Okay. We're going to go over to share screen and we're going to go. This is my website, superlivingtoday.com. And we got the menu right here. So if you look at the workouts tab, and these are just all the workouts. The Massive Iron Collection, this actually has 354 pages of workouts. That's a huge deal. It's got tons of bro splits. This is a push-pull legs variant, so it's not going to inherently have a bro split. We have YOLO, we have big, small. So this is push-pull arms, legs, 28 power day cycle. Some of these have body part splits, some of them don't, depending on the nature of, like massive volume training does, massive double progression does. Torso limbs is a frequency program to begin with, so it won't. Massive crap, I believe, does. That's a 2-day. Just tons and tons. Massive loop training, that's a combination of upper, lower, and body part. So if you look in the massive collection, you'll find I also have books. Massive Iron has plenty in there. And let's see. If you go over to my store and you go to courses, you'll find the Power Muscle Bulldozer, Massive Mass, Power Muscle Block, Bulldozer Training Course. All these have body part splits. So the courses, I call them courses because they're a little bit longer than simple workouts. So that's and by the way, while we're over here, if you want to look at, check out the apparel tab. I only make like $5 for each of these, but I got some pretty cool stuff. We got the Massive Iron shirt. We got the Crom for those of you that are familiar with Conan the Barbarian. That's my Crom shirt. This is where I started Muscle and Brawn, my old first website I no longer own. Then we got the Massive Iron VIP shirt with the Massive Iron, kind of the weird little dude in there. I'm going to go through these for a minute, so bear with me. We got the Massive 316. Why not? For fun, right? We just do these for fun. This is like the arm and hammer thing. We got Massive Iron with that kind of logo-ish thing. And then we got, this one, Massive Iron, Run DMC, Massive Iron, right? This one's like the AC/DC ripoff. Why not? Just for fun. I do these for fun. Then some of these are just jokes like turkey steroids. And this one I put together for fun. Instead of progressive overload, we have regressive underload, right? Just lifting shirts, stuff I create for myself. And there's different colors. They're not all black. There are different colors in here. This one cracked me up. Sometimes I just make them for fun. Buy my friggin' cookbook, right? You can get that in different colors as well. If you want to look sexy, hang tough. We got the Breaking Bad ripoff, Massive Iron. These are all designs I put together myself. We have flags, the VIP white, the black, the MTV ripoff, right, in black or white. Massive Iron YouTube. The Budweiser ripoff, Massive Iron. The Hulk Hogan ripoff, right, Massive Iron. And that's only page 1. We got 10 pages of stuff here. And I'll just show you some of the recent ones and I'll get off here. Date new to old. I do these for fun. Sometimes people on Team Massive Iron ask, this is Chonk Life for some of the women that wanted some, I don't even know what this is. This is one I put out, Shit Nails Eat Iron. Kind of a cool looking simple shirt. What's this? Train Like an Old Man. I don't know. Somebody asked me to put together a shirt for fun. Just random stuff, as big, as strong as humanly possible. Some cool shirts. What's this one? I'll show you the one that I sent to James Tiny. It's Caffeinate and Dominate. And let's see. this one I kind of had fun with. The massive Iron Yeti holding the dumbbells. Much Photoshop skills, right? And what's this one? Massive, just kind of the superhero vibe going on. Let's see. What's this one? Oh, this was the Christmas shirt I put out. Massive ho, ho, ho. And just a couple more before I bore everybody to death and they leave. More massive iron stuff. What's this one? Bury your excuses, massive iron. That's kind of a cool shirt. Cool hoodie. Let's see, we got the massive university stuff, which is pretty fun. I got a whole line of massive university stuff on here. And I sent these to James Tiny Vest. These are more of my motorcycle tees. Massive iron, born to lift. And here's another motorcycle tee that I like. The massive iron, born to lift, born to grow. Cool. So you guys want any good lifting attire? I'm not an apparel company, but I got tons and tons of massive iron stuff over here. This one I put together for Halloween last year. And we got different flags. What's this one? I lift because I'm ugly. Right? That cracks me up. What's this one? I identify as a family of 4, right, when it comes to eating. And I put this one together when everybody was hating on the word power builder. I put together the snazzy power builder shirt. Why not, right? We get it. Everybody else, nobody else will get it. And that's really about it. Just tons and tons of stuff over here. Tons and tons of shirt. We got shoes. We got gym bags. We have massive iron Chuck Taylors or ripped off of Chuck Taylors with the massive iron. I'm not an apparel company, but I do put together a lot of shirts. I got the bulldozer training one, which I really like. Massive iron bulldozer. That one turned out really well. And what else? Those are the massive iron university ones. And the SARMS Goblin. All right, enough of that. Let's get back on the questions. Where are we? Pedro, first marathon at the end of the year. New to running, but needed a different challenge. Any tips on combining both strength and running without losing the gains? You won't lose gains. The body will be just fine. Keeping muscle and strength is not difficult. Keeping, gains, like maintaining muscle and strength is pretty easy as long as you're training. As far as running, I would consider running 3 days a week. Having Saturday as kind of your longer, more flexible run day where you can run more on Saturday if you want. And then running a couple times during the week. Don't run for PRs during the week. You want to run just as your workman stuff to put in your work. I can give you a lot more information. I have running templates on teammassiveiron.com. And if any of you ever want to see a running template, just email me or message me on Instagram at Ben the Barman. I'll send you some of my running templates. Big Gary Tomas used to eat those Little Debbies as a kid. Man, there are some snacky cakes, aren't they? My mom used to get them. She didn't really have the capacity to get her. Yeah, I get it. We used to have them around too. I love those Little Debbies. If I want to just be a fatty and eat all day long, I'd probably just eat all those Little Debbies. Good morning, Big Hairy Ugly Dude. Have you ever trained a person with a metal rod in their legs and pins in their knees? I've trained all kinds of people. I've trained Special Olympians. I'm about to train Special Olympians again. We're starting up a team. I've had a lifter one of my Special Olympians that had pins in his hips, and I've had lifters with a metal rod in their back. I've trained, you name it. I've trained legally blind lifters. I've trained lifters with barely any cognitive function. That's a true story. Scoliosis. I've trained everybody. And the key really isn't to worry about what they can't do, but once we know what they can do, then we can definitely train effectively. One of the areas that I enjoy doing is finding what we can do and making it intense and safe, if that makes sense. So if you need any help or advice or you're interested in coaching, just let me know. What's going on? Let's go squat, big hairy ugly dude. Squat day for me is tomorrow. Art the Clown says hello. Art the Clown. I love that movie series, Terrifier, and I can't wait for number 3. Massive omnibus bench press. Yes, I put that out last night about 10 o'clock. Have you ever had severe pain in one of your forearms? When I do curls or assisted bands, I have to wear a compression cuff. For a while, I had this weird kind of tendon issue going on when I would curl. It felt like something wasn't right in my forearm. Yeah, I've had some weird things over the years. The body is so complex. It's not always easy to say what is causing what. But yeah, I've definitely been there. Big Billy Baker. I love watching Strongman. We got about 5 questions left, guys. So if you have any questions, get them in now. It's the last call. Anything I can take away from my own training? Well, number one, they built their base on what we are doing in the massive iron world, give or take. Number 2, if you want to get involved with strongman type of training, what I typically advise people is do your base building during the week. And then on Saturday, you can do like some fun stuff like the log press, like farmer's carries, or you can do some of that stuff during the week as your last exercise. Well, if you were going to do the log press, you might want to rotate that in every other week on your shoulder day, right? So if you like strongman training and you want to play around with it, just go slow. Be smart about it. Don't add a ton of stuff in. You don't want to just do strongman lifts and not do your base building. The 1 month off thing, I didn't want to say anything. I don't want to start any internet wars. When I was a kid, my mom always refused help when it came to cleaning, but always got upset because we respected her refusal. Right. You can't win sometimes. That's what I'm saying. Big Thunder G. Registered flex offender. That's funny, but man, I don't want to touch anything like that. You know what I'm saying? That's like a whole world that I don't even want to whisper in that world. It is funny though, for those of us with a sense of humor. Good afternoon, big hairy ugly dude. How should I train my legs with sore knees? Well, we have to assess a couple things. What is causing the sore knees? Is it body weight? Is it a specific exercise? And then we have to find exercises we can do that don't aggravate them. So there's no blanket answer that I can give you, but we have to do an analysis and find exercises that work. So if you need more help, just let me know. But really, it comes down to what exercises can you do. At PD, last question, guys, last call. What would you say is the squat of the upper body? I would say nothing, because I'm never going to be derivative. I'm not just going to pull things out of my dark orifice. I don't think there's one lift, because there's nothing that really trains the back and chest together. So, I mean, deadlift is a great lift, a great compliment, but I wouldn't put anything specifically. A lot of people like to label dips as a squat of the upper body, but there are a lot of people who can't do dips really well controlled, and they can beat up the shoulders. So that's about it, guys. We are done. We're done for Flex Friday. We're done with all your questions. I'll wait around a couple more minutes to see if we got anything else. We'll do a little pec dancing. I'm here every Friday. Please come back. Every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Check out my new series, Massive Omnibus. If you need coaching, hop on board. It's a 3-month minimum commitment. I'd love to work with you. Any tips to help train the lower back? First off, we need to know what posterior chain movements you're doing first. Are you doing squats? Are you doing deadlifts? Are you doing good mornings? Are you doing RDLs? A lot of people will be doing all those lifts, and they'll feel like my lower back is weak while I'm doing these big lifts. Most times you don't need more lower back work. more times you need more rest and better form. So we first have to assess that. Are my posterior lifts okay? Is my lower back fatigued simply because I'm working posterior lifts hard? So from there, if you feel like your lower back is a weak point, you could do some back extensions, some hyper extensions, but I wouldn't go really, really deep into additional lower back work. All right, guys, that's it. We are out of here for Friday. I appreciate each and every one of you. Folks, please tune in. I've been running these live streams every week lately on Twitter, or X, whatever you call it, LinkedIn, and the Book of Faces, the Book of Facebookies. All right, guys, I appreciate each and every one of you. Come back next week, and we are out of here.
It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.
What's up? I'm just being silly. See you guys later.